Well, I think it's very important for there to be an inclusive arena for free speech. Twitter has become kind of the de facto town square.
Social media is one of the most powerful tools influencing our world today. Sadly, many people are using it to find fulfillment and self-worth. So today, we're going to be asking the students, how influential is social media in your life? And what is the true secret to happiness?
You've probably heard about Elon Musk acquiring, now owning Twitter. He purchased Twitter for $44 billion. And again, very interesting because, again, this has been a back and forth with Twitter and with Elon Musk. Both people on either side saying if he purchases it, I'm leaving. Some people are saying if he purchases it, I'm coming back on Twitter. So very interesting heading there.
So, this just proves that social media has so much influence on our society today. And I'm sure this is one reason why Elon Musk wanted to, as I say, extend his empire by buying Twitter. So I want to ask you, just based on that, what are your thoughts on that transaction? You think it's good, bad,
I think it's very interesting because, first of all, as far as I know, at least, they don't have any stake in, social media, as far as I know, right? I mean, I'm not super into Elon Musk and all that, but he's known for SpaceX, Tesla, all that. So, like you're saying, I think it is interesting that he is trying to expand out, but at the same time, I think a lot of people are aware that Twitter is kind of, I think a lot of people feel like Twitter is kind of a cesspool, you know what I mean, for lack of a better word.
It's an interesting move, for sure. I know that he has been talking about it for a while because I think maybe his own personal security or something along those lines. So I understand why he would want to do it, but also that is a lot of money for a social media company.
Yeah, definitely. I know I don't have 44 billion.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Right. And also another point I want to bring out is that, social media
can be used for good or for bad. And I want to show you this other article which shows, I would say, a way that it's being used in a bad way. This is from NBC, and a teen boy, he died at the Florida theme park. And so his death essentially has become a TikTok trend in the sense of, he fell off a ride. And so people are, getting on rides and putting the caption on their TikTok videos, living for the thrill of it. And mentioning the fact that, okay, will I stop going on a ride because this guy died? So it's kind of insensitive in that sense. What are your thoughts on the fact that this boy's death has turned into a social media trend?
I just think that's completely awful, like how people are focusing in not on the tragedy that is this boy's death, but rather how they can profit off of it. Just random people too, not anyone really could do that. And it's really insensitive to the boy, his parents, anything of what has happened, their entire family. It's really disgusting is what I would say.
Yeah, that's definitely poor taste, but I mean, we've seen it all before on TikTok, like, all those people acting like they have like Tourette's or other mental disorders and stuff and just trying to get clicks or views or whatever, I don't know. It's definitely despicable, but, people want to be popular these days,
And people are doing anything just to be popular.
Yeah.
And there's a celebrity who made headlines recently for saying that they're going to take a break from social media. This is Britney Spears. And it says, Britney Spears announces she's taking a break from social media. Now, I'm using this as a springboard because I'm sure maybe you have yourself or people who have taken a break from social media.
So what I want to ask you, Hannah, is what are some reasons people take breaks from social media?
Well, there are a lot of mental health issues from being on social media a lot, like with negative comments or maybe comparing yourself to other people a bit too much. So taking time off really does help clear your mind and sort of focus yourself on yourself rather than everyone else and trying to compare and maybe make a competition out of it, is how I feel about that.
I think a lot of it is, I think a lot of people, when they're constantly seeing their friends and what their friends are doing, people get, fear of missing out, FOMO, whatever. And then, maybe they feel like their life isn't as good as the people, their peers' lives. Mm-hmm. So, I think people kind of get in a depressive state about that. Mm-hmm. So that's why a lot of people want to take a break.
And also another article which confirms another point of why many people leave social media is that, there's been many articles that have said that social media apps are deliberately created to keep you hooked, to keep you addicted. For instance, the infinite scroll. Sometimes you get so addicted that you don't even realize that you're scrolling. Your fingers just keep on going. And by the time you're finished, an hour, 2 hours have elapsed and you've accomplished absolutely nothing.
So would you say that you are addicted to social media?
Would you say you're addicted to social media?
Yes.
In a way, I am. I admit to it, yeah.
Would you say that you're addicted to social media?
Oh, for sure. Yes. Probably. For sure, yeah.
That's a good question. I would have to probably check. Let me check, actually.
I would say that I definitely have negative effects due to social media. I don't know if I'd say addicted, but I think my daily life is probably impaired by social media.
How much time would you say that you spend on social media if you could do an estimate?
Probably like at least 10 hours a day, maybe.
I have no idea. My phone screen time ranges from like 8 hours to 10 hours, so something around that.
Okay, how much time would you say you spend on social media?
Maybe like a good 2 hours on TikTok, to be honest.
Okay. My phone usually tells me between like 6 to 7 hours a day, so a lot.
I looked at it and it said roughly 5.5 hours per day.
Oh, okay, you looked at it. Can we see that?
Yeah, it's good that you know that. I was going to ask if we could see, if you don't mind, the screen time.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. That would be pretty neat.
Today I was only...
Okay.
My daily average is only 5 hours and 35 minutes.
So far.
Okay, mine went down to 7 hours and 38 minutes.
Okay, so right now it's 5 hours, actually. 5 hours, 49 minutes. So close to 6 hours.
Wait, you can check how much time you spend on social media?
You can look and then see like what app you use all the time.
Okay, wait, how do you
But
do that?
it matters. It depends on the day. If I'm busy, then not really. But like if I'm not doing anything, then I'm gonna be on it a lot.
I think everyone would like to say that they're not, but I probably am. Like, I've definitely thought about just like buying a flip phone and just like having that.
I think that one of the reasons why we're also always on social media, because again, I can attest to that as well. Sometimes I'll just be just scrolling on Facebook or whatnot. I go on there with a purpose, but then by and by, I lose my purpose.
And what generally happens is once we get off of social media, you feel a bit empty, a bit void. Has that happened to you?
I mean, sure. I mean, there's definitely not that much satisfaction in, just seeing what other people are doing and all that, when I think most people need to just get out and do something real,
What would you say is the secret to happiness?
Oh, gosh. I guess it kind of varies for each person. Like, I don't know. I feel like my secret to happiness, I like to spend time with like people and doing things that like I enjoy. Definitely probably not being on social media 5.5 hours a day. But I don't know.
And what would you say, Angel, is the secret to happiness?
Probably just not caring what other people think.
Finding out what makes you personally happy and following that, you know, not having to keep up what others want of you or what you think you want, when in reality it can't bring happiness to your personal life.
Everybody finds their happiness in something different, so
Could be like a hobby, whatever you love, to be honest. Like
basic.
I'm gonna say just being grateful what you have and cherishing, all the good times instead of worrying about all the negativity and stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What are some things that give you true sense of purpose, true sense of fulfillment as an individual?
Well, for me, that would be, since I'm an animator, I really like creating art and making that. And social media does help like share that sort of thing, but it also really gets in your head with if you aren't getting as many likes as such and such or whatever. So that can also be pretty bad. But just in general, I really like creating art.
I mean, definitely photography. I mean, definitely like anything physical, I think, yeah, we definitely, live in a digital age where we have, our own sort of persona, whether you want to call it that or not, online. I think a lot of people would just need to find something that's, like I said, physical in the real world to do with themselves. You know what I mean? I do photography, I skateboard, I have a project car that I work on. So, I think a lot of people are missing something like that in their lives, and I think it helps to have a release.
I like that we need to find something to do in the real world, because social media, it's like living in a fantasy world, or even just the modern forms of entertainment. You get so plugged in, but you never find purpose in this life because you're dreaming of what could be or what you could have, or how you want to feel. So I want to share with you what I believe are some secrets for lasting happiness, lasting contentment, lasting fulfillment in life. And these things I have found from the Word of God, and I'm going to share with you really quickly. So I have a few points here. The first one is, and they're all based on the book of Genesis. Now, before you read this, you saw a little bit, but before I show you this, in the beginning, God created Adam and Eve, right? And they were created perfect. So in a perfect state, mankind, he gave to them these things to maintain their happiness.
And so one of the first things that God gave us to have true happiness is meaningful labor. When God first created Adam and Eve, he started with Adam first. He placed Adam in a garden to tend and to keep it. So he gave Adam, even though Adam was perfect, he gave him something to do.
So even in perfection, God did not say, Adam, just walk around and do nothing. Be idle. No, he gave him work to do. And so I'm sure you can agree that when you're actively engaged in some form of work that's meaningful, you actually feel better as opposed to sitting around at home all day, right?
Sure.
Right. Now, another thing God gave to us was relationships. In Genesis 2 verse 18, he gave to Adam a help meet.
But the principle is, in our own personal relationships, our family, our friends, our acquaintances, those type of relationships many times are lost because we're on social media and we lose that connection with the outside world. We don't spend time with our friends. We don't spend time with our family members. If you're of a spouse, sometimes that relationship grows far apart because, again, social media is so addictive,
The third thing is, God gave mankind a day to rest from their labors. And that is the seventh day of the week we commonly call Saturday, a time where we should stay away from our work, worship God, and focus on Him. And another important thing that He gave us for our happiness is having our own personal relationship with God and keeping His commandments. Because it was when humans disobeyed God and broke His commandments, that's when sin entered the world, and sin brings pain, unhappiness, a feeling of guilt, unworthiness, all of these things which are negative for our minds and negatives for our bodies. 1 Timothy 6 verse 6. Could you read that for me, please?
But godliness with contentment is great gain.
And that's a very profound scripture that I like, because in life, many of us are not content. We're always seeking for more. And that's what social media does. We're looking for the next high, the next funny video, the next interesting thing. You see what I'm saying? Even those who are rich, you realize that once the rich get millions of dollars, they always want more, right? They're never content. But God says if we have a relationship with Him and we're content in our state, then we can have the true secret of happiness, which comes from God alone.
I can agree with that. I'm not personally very much of a religious person, but I was raised, Christian, and I do agree with a lot of that in that, we shouldn't be focused on basically trivial things like our number of followers, which is just greed and us trying to get more than what we really need. We should focus more on who we really care about and make sure that they're happy and keep them, really, really good.
Yeah.
So Lucas, thank you so much for your time. And I want to leave you with a gift here. Hopefully this blesses you as you continue in your journey. And I pray that you will find the path to peace, even having that relationship with Jesus.
As we see the growing influence social media has on our society and the continual search for purpose and true fulfillment, God is calling upon all Bible-believing Christians to point the world to the source of true happiness only found in a relationship with Jesus Christ. Continue to pray for the students and the seeds sown. God bless.